going to be reviewing and recapping um the Idol season 1 ish. I don't know if this is a limited series tonight. Episode 2. Sorry y'all if I sound a little bit draggish, but it's midnight and at the same time I just you know it was a little lackluster in this episode, but we're gonna work with what we can. Anyway, y'all, I forgot when I did the last review recap that the movie that was mentioned that I couldn't like figure out with Sharon Stone and Mike Douglas was Basic Instinct. But anyway, y'all, let's get into it. Now we pick up, I guess, the next day or whatever. She meets with her team. Most of the people, I think Andrew from Live Nation, I think, was the only one that wasn't there. But she has a team, including Nikki, Destiny, Cham, and Alexander. Was he there as well? I could have sworn he was there as well. And she wants us to hear this new song. Or a revamp of her song that they're calling. I thought it was called "I'm a Freak," but it's like the World Center song or something titled whatever. Right? And when we hear the song, and I always pay attention. There's only one time that we've seen Josh with like clothes on, okay, but it's always that she's wearing stuff. I mean, yeah, she's allowed to, show her body, but it's always and then it was rare. I think this was one of the few times that we didn't see her with a cigarette. I think because the first episode she was on a marathon with clothes, but she wants us to hear this new song. But like I said, when they're doing close-ups, when we're starting to hear this new and improved song, we got to do a close-up of her hips grinding in the back of it, that her pants are dragging like so you can see her underwear, her thong showing designer and her shirt and her just, let me hear this. And you just hear like it's basically the same damn song, y'all, where you hear her moaning because it shows like a snippet when the title, which is the idol, not everything is not in red like it was in the first episode and lights, but apparently after he cut hole open of the roll part, it turns out that he was allowing her to breathe so he can basically have her make noises to record while she's basically having sex with him on the mic with, the robe on and I mean with the rope around her head and I guess maybe the rope uh belt around her thing and her neck in order to make this album better. Which just seems to be a setup, like based on this writing how the way the producing is going, whatever. Like I said, we working with what we got. But her team, even Nikki, consider how liberated she was in the first episode. She was like, "Oh heck no, no!" Like we already got the single, right? They ready. She, like I said, due to her having a breakdown last year, they had to refund, when they did concert sales and all this other stuff. And basically, it's like kind of the last minute, like where they invested so much in her, and I'm wondering, have they even thought about giving this Joss any therapy? Because I know they could say everything else. We still haven't seen anything. We hear like mentions about her like not mourning her mother, which we still that she hasn't got proper grievance, and nor has she really got the help that she needs dealing with obviously losing her mom. Which, like I said, is the only relative. Obviously, they keep bringing up only person that she was biologically related to that she was quote, quote, had, was, connected to. But like I said, I'm starting to think that did she ever receive therapy? Because it leaves her open to vultures, which we will see later on, and not so surprising setup, which we all know Tato's, is on some other stuff, but with his cult, which we're starting to slowly, surely see. And we got only 4 more episodes left. We got to wrap this up. You know what I mean? With him. And I wonder, is the team gonna stay with enough for her as far as the managed team gonna like do something about it? But like I said, but she, but like I said, when Josh explained this song, Nikki's like, hell no. And she's like, if y'all don't feel this way or don't feel support, but this song is not me. But I feel like this is a song, it's different, blah, blah, blah. And Nikki's like, hell no. And but Josh is like, I want to be able to, if y'all feel away, I can, sit here and turn out shit, like releasing. She's like, let me remind you real quick. First of all, when you had your little, so-called, I wanted to have a breakdown and shit, we had to sit here. We spent all this money, like I said, said before about refunding money, returning turning all this money and everything. And we invest, and 8 months later, after we had to, get you healthy and everything else, and get yourself together after like losing money and getting you people so we can get this LP so we can try to get back on track. And then you mean to tell me, let me remind you, and you gonna sit here and think you're gonna like release this junk? And we already have you set up where this is going to like, basically relive her career. And so, but she's trying to call, I think in between or after, she's trying to call Chase again. She texts them about, the song and eventually does call her. And, he's getting one of his cult members, I think Cleo, which will be introduced later on in the episode, is braiding his ponytail. He's like saying he's not doing anything, just taking care of business though. And while at the same time, he is one of his followers, which Isaac, is calling to talk to her like, "How are you doing?" and blah blah blah. Is anybody ever said you came from New York or something like that? And she's like, you know what? That's the first time anybody asked me something like that. So it's kind of like a distraction, more one ways, if you know what I mean. That he's supposed to come into play with her, but basically distract her in some, distract her. Yeah, I'm saying it like I'm saying it, so that way he can get in cool with John, whatever. Um, and so while they're talking, they made arrangements. I think that call or later on that he's going to meet her in a couple of days and come over because now she feels close to Tedros, that he knows her sound. Because he didn't even tell her, like, you need to get another team. If they don't believe in you, we need to figure out like how we're going to put this together. Okay. You need people who believe in you. Okay. uh, Somebody who don't know who doesn't know her at all, and even though her team has invested a lot in her, she's going by this wrong path where somebody just able to deal a couple words, couple and put her in a chokehold, more ways than one. Okay, with this nonsense. But besides, like, she doesn't really have people she can talk to. And like I said, she still needs she needs therapy. Maybe a couple of subscriptions for, but I'm like, she's not getting what she's supposed to have. And like I said, this is how Trey was able to slide in his, musical cult extravaganza. Now they're coming up with before like I said, she's supposed to do this. She's again still thinking about, she in the studio with the song. And again, here she goes, where she's slowly putting her hand around her. I'm like, is there any scene that doesn't involve, if it has to do with anything at the sexual level, where it's not some type of strangulation or something? And then she up here with the cup with the ice or whatever, whatever. And that's when I think Trick called again, and that's when I think they made arrangements about, me and some, because she's still talking about it. So he was like, "Well, why'd you let them hear him?" She was like, "I'm sorry. I just wanted them to know. I know it was stupid of me." He's basically letting her know, like, it's not finished. We know we still need to work together. It's still, it's still a session. It's still work in progress. So now we got the song, the video, whatever. And she comes up 3 hours or something later because I think Chan was telling her, the video director and or slash Nikki and Destiny. Turns out that they had to digitally airbrush the inside of her thighs were cut or something like that or something. The first image they said something about some airbrush on her thighs. I'm thinking like, "Hey, "Oh, you small frame woman. What do you mean trying to digitalize? They're trying to make more of a gap. What are they talking about?" And so every time they kept trying to, also Tella, I think her name is Tella, is there, from Vanity Fair, is there, and she's talking and she's like, "Well, how do you feel? Do you feel, in place, or what is your position?" And she's still looking stuff and examining around. I guess she's supposed to follow Josh within the week or whatever to make this major, article about Josh, I guess, return to music, or possible return to music. I don't know what the hell's going on the way it's going. And so she keeps trying to perfect doing this dance. They're also paying attention, like the dancers that built this, whatever they got on. They got on some coats, whatever, some suit coats, and I guess speedos and stuff like that. Even they kind of looking like for some reason, like, is this, like, the video, they kinda didn't agree with it, but at the same time, again, Joss is like when she's supposed to do her steps over and over again. It seems to be that when she's performing, she somewhat freezes, even if she's moving, so to speak. Meaning that whatever traumatization that she is having about her mom, which is interesting enough, they don't show any flashbacks of anything has to do with her mom. We don't even know what her mom looks like. Okay. If she was called, Miss Rosie, nothing about her, but just her, kind of like almost like she stops, or maybe she's still used to her mom being there, during when she used to perform, or whatever the case is, but at times, she keeps trying to perfect, "I gotta do it again, I gotta do it again," and also Tails also in her head as well. And around the same time, I think, he's got, some of these women, or some of these, his cult people looking around, and at the same time, he has this button, I guess, to, like, electrocute. I don't know, it's supposed to electrocute Isaac. He gets the process, like, he's got him, like, getting ready. Is he gonna, like, perform for Magic Mike, Chippendales, or something? Because he's like, "You gotta make him dance and make him think you want you," whatever. So when he didn't gets it right with, I guess, his dance move, he electrocutes him with the press of a button. Okay, it's it's, no words for that. So continuing on, y'all, like I said, she's trying again to perfect this move, which is not actually going too well for her. And to lead, like I said, every time she kept trying, keep trying again. And even she's even thinking about, well, I'll pay for it. We can do it next day, because she wants to perfect, her movements and everything, you know. And then at the same time, going on, y'all, because like I said, some things are in a place, whatever. Um, and most of it has to do with what's going on during this scene, during the video shoot. Besides the last part when Trezos and he brings some of his followers, friends, or followers or worshipers, okay, to the house. Now, what happens is that when she, like, is getting to the point, first she says to herself, "I miss my mom." Again, we don't see any flashback. It's just like a major disconnect with wondering when she's talking about her mom. And then, there's a part where Cham and, Destiny's talking, and Destiny, like I said, talks to Josh our society, try to, a couple times, 1 or 2 times, where she tries to talk to her and comment her, "We can do this," and stuff like that, "You can do it. It's okay, you have a moment." Um, that they started to find out about this Trezos guy, Tre Trados guy. I'm not gonna mispronounce his name right. But he is a guy who used to be in Hawaii, who lived in Hawaii, who owes some people, who has a so-called music label, and he has a club, but that's pretty much what they have. But I'm wondering, considering that, say, if he's a part, whatever, and that's the only information I have, are they going to go further into investigating this guy because of him having a shaky past, or knowing that she is involved with this dude that's shaky? And when Chim trying to ask Leia, like, what about this dude? Do you know? I mean, is he Hawaiian? He's a person of color. She kept saying over again. He's a person of color. She was like, it's okay if he's Hawaiian. He's a person of color. I mean, there are black Hawaiian people, but you know what I mean. Chip had to remind her it's okay to say if he's a black man. I guess he's black. Okay, but it's like that's the little information that he's kind of brought up with Trails besides like Joss talking to himself. And then also when they were rehearsing, Diane, pops up back again and she stands out. And Nikki notices her and kind of has her audition because she's like, she's dancing out, dancing to everybody and everything else, right? And has her sing. So, what happens is that here we go to a part again where all of a sudden we're seeing another meltdown from Josto Point. And here's what happens. This is after actually, y'all, she does a good job like she does in the first episode. She finally gets it together. But guess what? While she's performing and giving her all and giving her best, conveniently the camera is out of focus and don't catch. So she's stuck, all happy. She's like, "Did you all get that?" And they're like, "Oops, my bad. You're gonna have to start over, Johnson." She just like first said to herself, like, "Oh, I wish my mom was here or something." I think she said it prior to then, and then she started staying on the stage. Her makeup is coming off and everything, and they're up here like, "Are you okay? Are you?" And you said you're asking for your mom. No, no, I wasn't. Then she's like, "Oh, I'm fine. Let's just go ahead and start over again." And she can't really start over again. She even has to stop and take off her shoes, y'all. And it's sitting here looking like a horse. So she's got band-aids on her feet, like she been dancing till she's a maniac. And if you know that song from Flashdance and stuff like that or whatever, and just did that look too much. It's like, okay, she think about something else, but her feet are jacked the hell up. Like I said, she got band-aids, they are bleeding, the shoes is cut. Then you could see the inside of both, like directly two circles, you know, on both sides of her inner sides next to her groin area that are bruised and scarred. And I'm thinking, like, did this come from? Did it come from him like scratching them up or whatever? Because he was putting ice down. I'm like, I'm still confused, y'all. What the hell was that? Okay. And like I said, they sent Destiny to talk to her, and they decided that, they're just gonna put that because she's supposed to go on a tour, and based on her behavior, Nikki realized like, you gonna have no choice but to rest, and it could be possibly the end, fortunately, the end of her career. But like I said, is nobody is suggesting that she gets help. Okay, just obviously she needs intense therapy, some better help, maybe all in above, whatever. Because that doesn't seem to be brought up at all. But anyways, while Tara, the Vanity Fair writer is still there, Nikki was there. They decided that they're going to keep um Daphne on the stage, and she's like, "This is going to be added to the story." And guess what? And of course, in the reveal that we weren't expecting, um Troy is talking about you talking to Daphne, which Daphne is actually there as sitting there and probably has given information. And then I'm kind of wondering because they never went into, even though it was a selfie of her, the Pillsbury glaze that she had on her face from the first episode. You have to wonder who had access to the selfie. Did Daphne know about the selfie and leaked it out the trade? Because it's like it's being like also Jocelyn's targeted on Joss is being targeted on purpose, and Daphne is a part of this cult that is Trejos is over. Because she was saying, "You think can she smash better than me? She can't stick me." He was like, "No." But and she said, like, Nikki's thinking about possibly signing me to love. He was like, "Good, I get my money back, my money's worth, blah 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 blah." So it's all a plan that Joshua was supposed, was the plot, and they're about to hit a lick, and they look, and Josh might be possibly that big ass sucker, whatever. So after when Josh is just home and she's talking to Jim is like, like this is on the last leg, and the last leg ain't standing too well after she goes home, which this Leah and I think Alexandra's helped carrying her almost to the car because she needed some shoes. She was so much pain that she had fell. Okay, it's just like I said, when I mean she's breaking down, she's breaking down. But back when they get to the house, it turns out now not only is Josh a career is like really really failing. Shan for the past years keeping afloat has been going half on a mortgage. He's like broke, she's virtually broke, and just everything is just like how it's just going downhill and so forth. And she's like, I'm just trying to do my best or something like that. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was holding on barely to this episode, but at the point, it's just the real reality of the point of her career, which had a promises up. And even though a year later, it's actually not only she's worse where she was, even though losing her mother to cancer, turns out that's what she died from. But it's basically like she may not come back from anything. And I think she used to be a childhood star. She had mentioned that you remember her singing when she was 11 years old the song Fever. So she's been invested for years, but yet we don't know if she'll ever come back. So Trip comes over and asking him brings some of his friends, which they never really showed the lady too much with the braids, black lady. I'm trying to remember, but it was this one girl who asked, "Oh, you got a pool?" First, she's like, "Oh, the name is Cleo." I think she was the one who was braiding, quote quote, um, trail, braid slash or Johnson's called his rat tail. And she's like, "Oh, you got oh, this is her place? Oh, oh," and then she's asking Josh, "Oh, well, hi. Can I swim in the pool?" She's like, "Oh, sure." So she just butt ass naked just swim on the pool and stuff, whatever, I don't, whatever. And then Isaac asked to go to one of the bathrooms, but his goal was to go and entertain whatever. And he's all letting her know, like, I'm here, let's dance, blah, blah, blah. And they go to part or dance a little bit. And Josh, he got her now on, they sitting here on that white girl, and Lily the first time is introduced to taking nose candy as well. And she's like, I never had done it, but he was like, yo, go ahead or whatever. So it's just like, oh Lord, here we go. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, whatever. Basically. So they all talking or whatever. And eventually we see Isaac that he takes, I guess, to her, her bedroom. But before, even though the stuff's kicking in, she is trying to add some little information first. Like, well, where are you from? Where you come from? And he said that actually, Trails met him in the church. And if you actually the musician in real life that is playing Isaac Rowe, his parents were strict also in the church, whatever, as well. I mean, not in the cult way, I think, but looking at his background, his parents actually, I think his dad was a preacher, or I think both, or I know his dad was, very religious. It is very religious. I don't know if he still is, but he was saying, that's how Trestles met him, and it was like, so you follow, and he's like, he was like, he follows him and stuff, and he's like, and he's part of his label. Yeah, I he knows I sing and stuff, and he's great. And she's like, Trails is Tails is into the church. He don't seem like it. He's like, but he's like, yes, he's godly. And that was another red flag itself right there. He's to his music label coincidence, signed to his music label. We don't know what the hell it is. But yet he says he's godly. Huh? Red flag. But they end up smashing the shows any darn way. And then this was interesting stuff. So Coley comes out and she has on underwear, and I'm like, she didn't have any underwear before she jumped the pool. Did she find a pair of Josh pants, just put them on her closet, stuff like that? So eventually it shows that Dre's whatever, he's got her in the room and she wants to be black, wants him to put that fabulous red robe on, whatever, again on her and has her till she's black. I'm like, okay. But Cola's in the back. She's got her actually one of her dresses on. And I guess, I don't know, maybe he's initiated something, whatever, part of his, of his code. Whatever. He gets a part of belt rope and puts a blindfold. He kills on her bed and he starts saying some lines. It sounds like it'll be the stereotypical triple X film. I want to, spread your legs here, do this here, stick this bro. I want to stick. I could have sworn that he said, rise with rock instead of just saying put on dick. It's just face. I want to stuff my. I could have sworn he said that, but it just sounded like he was using lines, watching her, telling her I guess play with the. And the clip was for example with the voyeurism, he's watching because he ends up getting some some brains from her, and what and Chloe from a distance is watching. I don't know. I first thought when he had a blindfold, I thought he was going to use audacity to have Chloe do something to her sexually, whatever, while there was food. So after they do that, whatever. And that's what I'm saying to myself. It's getting smashed by Isaac in her room. Um, he's like talking to her like, you know what? In order, I guess, to work more on the music fluence, whatever, and help her out. Maybe I should move in. For work purposes. Mhm. See? Warning. And then, cause Clea when she came out I forgot to mention, came out the pool butt naked, she started playing the hell out of the piano, stuff like that. And then she's doing it again. She is playing the piano and talking about, and she keep reciting over again about family. We don't get along, and our mom doesn't like it or something like that, but we're family. Then, Josh hears her. She's like, wait a minute, who is that? Oh, that's Chloe. Everybody comes in and Lady looks like a little bit like kind of looking like what the hell is going on? Because first eventually Chloe singing and then you got Isaac singing with her. And eventually Josh starts singing, no, even though we have family, we don't get along and the mom doesn't like it. And Josh is like, being this and keep reciting the song and tears are falling down her eyes. And ladies look like, oh hell, what the hell we got ourselves into? Like I said, I could have sworn there was another person with them, but it made it seem like it was only Trejo's, Isaac, and Chloe. Or was the other person eventually came in there? Because I could have sworn it was one, two other people. But anyways, we're getting started that, and I could have sworn during after when the credits and stuff come up, they start playing down so love to love you baby, and that was pretty much it. Okay, I hope y'all enjoy review. Okay, hugs and love y'all. I'm gonna stretch it out and be committed to the rest for these episodes. But what do y'all think about how the show is going? What is the things that can be improved, and um what is next? And it's like there's only so much you can work with. Okay, I'm doing my but I will say, well, I mean, the good thing is we do see a lot of like talented people that are in here. It's just okay, whatever, y'all. All right, see you on the next one. Take care. And don't forget, if you like what you hear, you listen to, where you're watching slash the picture review, or you're listening to the podcast of this particular series, go ahead, like, support, and subscribe to my channel, and or follow, click the button, and you can listen to this the podcast or YouTube and other major formats. But anyway, y'all take care.